Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Sock Talks with Joy and what's his name? Oh,
Steve,
Sean.
Bob. God, I don't know.
Sorry, Sean. I don't know how I
Yeah.
forgot that, but anyways, teasing everybody, you know that or that. Hey, we're excited today. We have another awesome award-winning guest on here with us today from our Send Out Card Nation, Willie Diefenbacher. Diefenbacher? Is that how you say your last name?
Diefenbah-Jones.
Diefenbah-Jones.
I like Willie DJ. So she's going to spin some tunes for us in a little bit too. So
That's exactly right. Joy, you can call me Willie DJ if you can't say Diefenbah-Jones. It's okay.
Willie DJ.
We're good. So, but anyways, Willie is from the Texas area, and this year we are so honored to have her on here because this year she won the Global Ambassador Award for Send Out Cards. A total surprise. Yay.
Yes, I was completely surprised.
Yeah. And the funny part was they didn't even have that award in the book.
I know. It was so funny.
That's why it was really funny. It's like, oh, what else are we going to hear about today?
I know. You know, when they were reading Cody was reading the description, I thought, well, who's going to get this award? I wonder. And then he calls my name. I'm like, what?
But so exciting. And tell us, Willie, what does this award mean? I mean, gosh, it was such a surprise. You didn't have time to think about it, right?
I didn't have time to think about it. I was so honored to get the award. And what I would say that the award really meant to me is I better get busier and do more as we move forward on a better way. And of course, I've loved Send Out Cards. I've been in Send Out Cards about 9 years. And I have this award was such an honor to receive because it was so unexpected. But it really was kind of a kick in the behind that said, hey, get up and get moving, and you could do a little bit more. Can't you do just a little bit more? And so it's incentive too.
Interesting. So when they say the word global, does that mean you have people all over the world? Yourself,
yes.
Your organization? Awesome.
Yes. Awesome. And I have customers that send all over the world.
Uh-huh.
I have a lot of international customers, especially in Russia and Asia and India.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Now, do you have affiliates over there too, or just
customers?
No,
just customers.
How did you find these customers? How did they find
BNI?
BNI?
They all came through BNI. And as you know, when you were in Houston and went to some of our BNI chapters, we're very diverse down here. And some of these people are from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
I have several people in my BNI chapter that are from Russia. And I have a lot of people from other BNI chapters that are from various places in Asia. And so that's how I found the customers. And then, it's just kind of through BNI.
Nice. And I think I remember Cody saying something when you had an event down in Texas, you brought a whole bunch of students or what organization was that about?
Yes. At the time, Cody was on the book launch. He was doing the book launch tour.
Right.
And it was really planned very quickly. And so when they announced the Houston site, I was like, well, I can't go because I was teaching a class and I work with the schools and I work with inner city schools. And so what I was doing at that point in time is I was teaching financial literacy to kids that don't understand financial literacy. And so what we did, I was doing that event. I already volunteered for it. And I was like, you just can't cancel on something like that. Well, then we got talking about Cody and we said, well, why don't we bring the kids to Cody? So we hired 2 buses and we brought 2 bus loads of kids. And there was about, actually, I'm trying to fix my camera here. We had about 75 kids that came and listened to Cody on the book launch. And the excitement in the room, you have never seen it. They were so excited. These kids, the energy, and it just, of course, with energy, that brings Cody more energy.
Sure.
And it was just really, really, really good. And then at the end, Cody gave every kid a book, and they were so excited about this book. And then the next day, when I went back to work with my financial literacy kids, they were just so excited about the book, and they read the book. And now it's been, a year, 2 years later. I don't remember how long ago the launch was. But when I see those kids in the hallway, they still talk about Cody and how good he was. And, Cody is really good with kids.
He's good with kids.
He can really work with kids. And, they raise their hand and ask funny, maybe not funny, but crazy questions. And Cody's just like, you roll with it. And it was just a lot of fun. And we were going to do it all one event because, of course, all the other affiliates invited people. But because I had I had like I think there was 82 with the teachers and all that. There wasn't enough room for the 82 kids and everybody else. So that's what we did. And it was so exciting. And I really did that with one of my affiliates. Cindy Reibenstein is one of my affiliates, and she and I both worked very closely with education, but she did a lot of work in the coordination of this.
Oh, that is.
Now, do you have their 18th birthday marked on the calendar so you go back and say, now you can be involved with me with the company?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Let's
do.
really take your financial freedom up a little bit.
Well, I actually help them set goals of financial freedom and what it is.
Nice.
Oh,
And
that
so, yes, I do have that on the calendar. And we also talked to all the teachers that were there and everything else. So yes, it was a great event. And they got to meet Cody, and Super Dave was there, and Jordan was there. And of course, Callie and me, we had a lot of fun. But when these buses pulled up and they got off, it was just impressive to watch every kid get off the bus to go see Cody. It was exciting.
He just loved that too, without a doubt.
He did. He did. I was nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh.
How old were they at the time?
It was a whole range of kids. Probably the youngest was about 8, and the oldest was like a senior in high school. So it was a very diverse,
very diverse group. Yeah. Well,
you're right. That brings a lot of energy.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy. Yes.
Brings a lot. Yep.
You just never know what they're going to see. And with this, they were inner city kids. So these are kids that come from families, maybe they make $25,000 a year. So this was a big deal to go meet Cody.
Priceless.
Yes.
Well, kudos to you for spending time doing what you're doing, teaching them too. That's awesome. I didn't know you had a side gig,
I do. I have a side gig. I work very closely with education and financial literacy.
Oh, wow.
Because I think that it's something that needs to be done. And of course, I work very closely with the schools because I don't believe, and most people don't believe, everybody needs to go to college. There are other routes you can take to be very successful. So I'm helping kids to realize what other routes are and how to do it. And we place kids with people. So like if somebody wants to go, well, right now we don't with COVID, but before all this happened, like if you want to go to the University of Alabama, I introduce you to somebody that went to school there and you get to talk to them and you'll learn a lot. Kids want to learn. If you've never gone to college or never known somebody to go to college, it's exciting to talk to somebody that's been there.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
So we'll get off on a tangent. Do you think there's one thing, what's the most important thing with kids and their financial literacy? What if you had to say, this is the most important thing we could get across to them? Budgeting.
And the reason I say that is we teach how to pick and choose. So if you want to buy a new Mercedes, say it costs, I don't know how much it costs, but let's just say it costs $50,000. Okay, if it costs $50,000, this is how much you're going to pay. Well, this is how much you're going to earn if you're a school teacher, say. So now, if you put to this, can you buy your food? Can you buy your vacation? Can you do your vacation? And we help them pick and choose. So I would say budgeting.
Okay.
That's cool.
I'm just curious.
I would say that's awesome. As I've watched my kids come through life.
Really?
Learn. Yeah. And they're both totally opposite each other. But budget definitely is.
Well, they're a boy and a girl, right? So
yeah.
Okay.
One's red hair down here.
I have one of each too.
One looks like
yes, I understand.
Yeah.
All right, back to task. So
budgeting is a critical thing, Sean.
Gotcha. Yeah, time and money, anything. Yeah, you're right. So a better way. How are you approaching this?
I use the texts that were supplied and I invite using the very first text. And the one thing I added into the text is I would say, if I'm going to send it to you, Sean, I'd say, hey, Sean, I hope you're doing well during these crazy times. And then I just go right into the text. Okay. And I have pretty much gone through my phone and almost every contact I have reached out to. Now, some not because of various reasons that we don't need to get into, but I really just have gone through that. And now I'm working in LinkedIn. And so that's how I'm approaching it.
Okay.
I also, in conversations, I listen. I ask a lot of questions, and if I'm hearing a need from somebody that they want extra income or they're looking for something different, I say, hey, can I show you a better way? And let them take a look. And then I share the video If they say yes, I share the video. If they say no, I say if timing changes later, please feel free to reach out. Do you know anybody?
Okay.
And that's how I'm doing it.
Okay.
Are
And
you
then what do you, so somebody says yes and they click on the video and join, then what are you doing?
Well, basically what I do then is I send them a welcome email. And the welcome email kind of, it's similar to what corporate does, but because
Okay.
it's for me, it's a little bit more personal.
Sure.
And I invite them to our web page, our Facebook, not web page, but our Facebook page. I invite them to that. Of course,
Okay.
I send them a card, and then I reach out and call them, and I schedule a one-to-one. And basically what I want to do in the one-to-one is I want to learn from you. Are you ready to get started? Do you want to make money right now? Did you join just because you love the person that recruited you or that shared this with you? That's when my team does that. Did you just
Okay.
love joy? And so you did it because Joy said joy. Or
Right.
are you really looking for opportunity in January to see what's there? Because that helps me to understand where to plug them in
Sure.
and work with them.
Well, and if it's somebody has no clue, they may not know, like, what do you mean I can make money now? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
right?
So, perfect.
And that
Okay.
was yesterday. I did a three-way call with somebody on my team, and she had no idea she could bring in money now.
Right.
And so I started talking about it. And as we know, probably the people that are going to be really making money for us are not the ones we bring on, but the people that they bring on,
Sure.
Mhm.
or down and down and down
Yep.
levels. And people need to feel connected. I
Yeah.
think one of the great things about Sindel Cards, and this is my only MLM, so I can't compare it to something else I've ever done, but we are really a community. I can reach out and call you guys anytime I want
Right.
to, and we help across the board. And that's kind of how we work. So I want people to feel that community.
You know, and
Right.
it's funny you say that because we've had many people on and almost everybody says that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, there's not a, well, that's their team. Don't talk to them because that person's going to get mad. There is none of that. It is very, I mean, Joy and I are on the same team.
Mhm.
She pays me every week to be on this, but we're not on the same team. But it was just a conversation we had at convention last year. Like we should do something like this.
Mhm.
So you're right. I love that about our community. So card
I
centers,
think
we're
it's a-
great people.
I think it's a great idea that you two do this together and cross team, because it's just about what we're about. We are great people.
Yep.
Mhm.
We are, and we believe in each other.
Right.
And it's, you know, you may get encouragement from somebody else that has, I think the coolest part is getting encouragement or somebody saying something that resonates with you that they're not going to, they don't get anything from you by helping you. And that really shows really how we are. And I think that comes from Cody in the top and Jody, you know, so.
I
Yeah.
think it does too. And I also think, and I was thinking about when we were talking about how we work this, when I was talking to Joy, not in this conversation, but in another conversation, she's built a better way through Facebook. And she's got a whole approach that she uses in Facebook. It's great. And it's awesome to have her share that with the whole team, because if you're not in LinkedIn like I am, well, there's another way. And one way is not better than the other.
Sure.
But
Sure.
it's great for people to see options. And sometimes you could say something, you and I could say the same thing, but the words you use resonate with somebody versus mine did not.
Right.
And
Exactly.
through LinkedIn, are you just messaging the text like you just said? Okay, because I do Facebook. I haven't done I have, you know, I need to go to that now too, because I have connections on there that I don't have on Facebook. So that's a good idea.
And interesting, and as Sean says that, you know, I'm the same way. I'm not on LinkedIn much. So now to go to LinkedIn and do this, I feel like I'm asking for something before I've had a chance for people to get to know me. So I know that's probably not where I need to go right now until I build that up a lot more. You know, like I started building up my Instagram, you know,
Mhm.
much better in the last 7 or 8 months, you know, getting more consistent on there. So to go and ask somebody there on there, it's easier for me now,
Yeah.
you know, and like the texting, I don't do a lot of the texting with it. And, you know, and I think it's probably my own hang up with that, because I don't like somebody to text me about something like this.
Mm.
You
You
know,
got to get over that.
I know.
That's limiting.
I'll share. I'll share.
I just had somebody just today, as a matter of fact, you know, she had messaged me and said something about, can I send you a link for this webinar? And I thought, well, you can send it, right? The next thing I know, I get a text today, say, well, see you tonight at 7 o'clock. Well, I never said I wanted to be on here at 7 o'clock,
That's
right?
the assumptive close,
You know, so when I see something like that, then that's where I'm conscientious of what I do when it comes to the texting like that, because I know how I feel and I know what's coming with it and all. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you got to find, I think no matter where it's at, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, or texting, do you have a goal for yourself? Like every day I'm going to send 10, 12, 15, 20 of these out. Is that what you do? Yeah. It's all that consistency. It's no matter how you do it, do something every day, right?
It's about consistency. And my goal is to spend 2 15-minute blocks every day and send text. I say text, but I mean text or
touch it
messages.
sometime.
And I think, Joy, your point is very good. You build, both of your point is very good. You build where your community is. I don't work much in Facebook. LinkedIn is my audience. And so that's why I'm in LinkedIn. One's not better than the other. It's where your approach is.
Right.
Now, I'd like to share a little bit of story about something you said, Joy, about, where you have your own thoughts about sending messages. Last year, I was at a conference and there was a physician that she's very high up in her organization, whatever organization it was. She's very high up in it. And she was a physician and she talked about, I had all these patients to see and it was horrible. And because of the managed care and the things, you could only see patients for 10 minutes and you were push. And she said, I wasn't a good physician because I couldn't spend enough time with patients. And somebody introduced me to this. And she said, it changed my world. But she said, why didn't somebody talk to me sooner? I have been so unhappy. And she went on to say, if you don't share it with people, you never know who's looking for something.
Yeah, exactly.
And so after she talked, and of course, you guys know me, I got to talk to everybody. So I have to go talk to her afterwards. And she said, yeah, I was a physician all these years, very unhappy. I wish I had known network marketing a lot sooner. So, I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. And it changed my life. So now, boy, I ask people, and just a little bit ago, I got pushback from somebody, and I just used the Jordan line that he gave us on Monday night. Oh, sounds like this is not for you, no biggie. Well, guess what? Now they're interested.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
I think you're right. I think
big call with Jordan too. That was
a year from now, there are going to be several people, hopefully at our live convention, they're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad Willie pushed me or asked me for this. I'm so glad Joy approached me on this. I'm so glad, and if you're right, if we don't know what their situation is. They could look like they have everything they want.
right.
And, this might be the thing that they're looking for that you don't ask. It's their decision to decide yes or no. So we're just the messenger. Just don't kill us.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's, I know when I'm working with people on my team, it's the same way. It's like, your job is only to share it. It's only to share it. Find your means, find where you're. I had somebody the other day that still hasn't started sharing. I mean, seriously. And it's like, how long we did it? 3 weeks? And they said, well, I'm going to start with this circle of friends. I said, it just do it. Just ask, don't be messing with it.
Do the first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I found the more you do, like we take 15 minutes and you send 20 or 25 out. If somebody goes, no, thank you. You're like, all right, no worries. I'm on to the, so one or two. And then you're like, I'm going to put the phone over here. So,
and then you'll get where people
we just need to get out of our own way.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And then you'll get messages back like, yes. And it's all of a sudden, ooh, now you got to change, and the next thing it's like, okay, I got to go back. You'll keep track of it, and because you get days where it's like, you've got so many, you don't know where they're coming from, and
that's exactly right. And I think, Sean, your point is well taken, that if I do two, I can do them. Sometimes this darn phone is the heaviest thing I've ever had. And I can't even do one. And I'm just like, I got to get over it. If I do one, then I can do two. Well, today I just do two. So I'll do two and I do two. Then I can do 10. Well, I did 10. Might as well finish up. And you're right. There's a trick to that.
Yeah.
But I like the time. I like the time block of, whatever that is for you. And I would even go so far as to say in that 10 or 15 minutes, just send. If somebody says yes, don't.
That's right.
Just keep sending until the 15 minutes is up, and then you can go back, because then it's easier copying and pasting anyway.
Exactly.
But you've gotten that time frame, and you might have sent out 40 or 50 of them, and now look, 10 people want info or 15 people responded right then, And other people, I did a few yesterday that got response today. So it's just when they look at it. So
Yeah. Hey,
Hey,
Willie, are you guys, I know you guys are doing a weekly meeting with people or meet and greet or whatever, and I'm doing the same thing up here now too. And I actually used Callie's script, because kind of her layout on how she was doing
oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I've done that. But anyways, my point of that is, do you at any point, are you doing any more of those blocks of time, like everybody, like we did a convention where everybody like, okay, take 30 minutes and you're gonna like boom, 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 boom. Are you doing any of those still?
We're not doing that, but I think we should do that. It's
Yeah.
something on my agenda or on my list to get going again.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've been saying the same thing to myself too, but I think I know what even happened with me personally is like, I need to be focusing on cards. We got to be, we've got to, that this balance between a better way and what we need to be doing right now for the card sending thing has been very hard for people. I know I've kind of struggled with it a little bit, and I think we've kind of lost, but I last night when I had my group call last night, it was like, I got off that call and I said, you know what, we've got to do some 15-minute blocks. Because everyone's getting wrapped up in themselves on not doing it, or what to say and all that. But you know how it is, look how many people we brought in those 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, right up during the convention and afterwards, So
those blocks I think are very important. And I want to get back on those. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a note so I can start those next week.
Yeah, I think so too.
And just mix them up. And people like to come to them and invite. I don't know, have you been to any of Callie and my blocks, how we do it?
No.
Well, the long and the short, and not that this is the perfect way, but this is just what we do that has been very effective. We kick off the call if Callie's running it or I'm running it, doesn't really matter. And we show these are the texting scripts. And so we put it on the screen and then we mute everybody and we say, there's no talking. And then you could put in the chat if you have questions so that Callie and I can text at the same
Do the same
time.
thing. Okay, well, that's good.
And so that's what we do. And then we come back about 5 minutes before it's over and celebrate at the end. But if people have questions, then they hit the chat, because what we found the first time, if it's open discussion, everybody wants to talk.
Yeah. I jumped on a couple with Sharon and Carol up there, and I think they were trying to follow pretty much your format as well. So, okay. Yeah, I want to start because I do think people need that. And, I think we're all just, and isn't it funny with the COVID right now? People aren't as busy. Mm-hmm. They have more time to be focusing on card sending, some better way and stuff like that. It's kind of like you don't have that urgency, like I have to go shopping. Okay, let me go on my computer. I mean, because nobody's going out, right? Yeah. So
well, if they're working from home, I can do something for a half hour. If I'm in the office, it's a little harder to get away with. So
yeah, exactly. So there's a lot more.
Well, any closing words of wisdom you'd like to share?
My closing words of wisdom would be get into action and just take a little bit of action every day. And it's about consistency. It's far easier if you get up in the morning or whatever time you want to work your send out cards business. But I encourage people first thing in the morning, but it could be whatever works for you, your lunch hour. Take that 15-minute block and do what you say you're going to do. And invite. That's not your card making time. That's your time to invite, to take a look or schedule appointments or do follow-up.
Right.
And you can work very easily in 15-minute blocks. So if you work 15 minutes before you go to work, 15 minutes over your lunch hour, 15 minutes when you get off work, right there, you've got 45 minutes.
Awesome. Great advice. Advice.
Thank you.
So, well, thank you, Willie, so much
for your time.
We really appreciate it. And I know I'll be re-listening and taking notes. I didn't want to be like rude and sit here and take them while you were talking.
Well, thank you so much for asking me. It was such an honor to talk with both of you. You both are amazing people. And I love seeing you guys at the top.
Yeah. Hey, we're all going to be there together, arm in arm.
Absolutely.
Yes, we are. We're going to walk together. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, it is. It is. So, well, thank you very much, Willie. Sean, thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Mother. Enjoy the snow, Joy.
Yep, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm enjoying it. Thanks, everybody. Have
All
a
right, take
nice
care.
next week. Bye-bye.